So, as I've mentioned previously on this channel, I spent 24 years in the Army. And the entire time that I was in the Army, I was a trombone player in the Army band. Now, wait, Bill, does that mean that the only thing you did was play music in the Army for 24 years? Well, pretty much, yeah. Hey, everybody, I'm Bill with Live Simple, Live Free. Yes, 24 years in the Army band. I loved it. Did we play Did we do nothing but play music? Yeah, pretty much. We did have a military, a combat role. We had to go through basic training and qualify for all of that, qualify on the weapons and all that kind of stuff. And then once I was playing in the band, we still had a military role. We would actually in times of combat, we would augment the MPs in processing POWs and security, base security around headquarters buildings and things like that, checkpoints and things like that. So we had to qualify every year on the M16. We had to do various other military qualifications every year. We usually spend at least 2 weeks, if not more, every year out in the field practicing all those things. But the main thing that we did was just music. Another thing that we did on a regular basis was we would work with recruiters and we would go into high schools and do concerts in the high school as part of the recruiting effort for the young kids in the high school. And so this little clip that I want to show you is that it's a, a rock combo that we put together that was recruiting in a local high school. Now, this was the 113th Army Band out of Fort Knox, and I was stationed there for a number of years. Now, I left there I was there in in the late 80s, and I left there in the fall of 89 to go to Korea for a year. And this clip was filmed just after I left, sometime in 1990. So I'm not a part of this group, but I could have been, and I have been. But a friend of mine that was in the band just sent me this clip, and he thought I'd appreciate it. Um, the clip was, I apologize for the poor quality. It was recorded by somebody who didn't really know how to record. They didn't know how to hold the camera steady. So there's a lot of bouncing around. Also, it was recorded on VHS, and that VHS tape was like over 20 years old, and it was just digitized so that I could see it. So the quality is not real good because it was an old VHS. But anyway, it'll give you an idea of some of the type of gigs that we played when I was in the Army band. And like I said, this was a recruiting tool, and you'll see actually one of the recruiters dancing to the music that was played here.
This is what these gentlemen do for a living. Let's hear a hand for them. A little music education here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not "We Want More," that is ugly. It says encore. Encore. I think they got one more.
Yeah, I know. I know. It was loud, it was raucous, and the kids absolutely loved it. As you could see, they're screaming, "We want more!" And I guess it was the principal came in up and said, "No, that's ugly. It's supposed to be encore." So they started shouting encore. So much fun. I did this for 24 years, and yeah, I loved it. I traveled all over the world. I was stationed in Korea for a year. I was stationed in Germany for 3 years. During those 3 years in Germany, the band toured into 7 European countries and did concerts all over the place. And then, of course, here in the States, I was stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado, Fort Knox, Kentucky. I was in North Carolina. I was in New Jersey. And we would travel all over the country. So this is in Würzburg, Germany in 1990. This is my good friend Bob, who is still a good friend of mine today. And this is our marching band in Germany, what we called our drill band. So that's me right there in the front. This is in Boone, North Carolina, probably in 1999 or so. We did a full concert in the park, and then we broke down into the jazz band here. And notice here that I am playing guitar. While we were in Boone, we also marched a parade, and notice here that I am the drum major. I was a drum major for 19 years out of my 24-year career. Now, this is the 113th Army Band in 1988. That was in Fort Knox, Kentucky. Fort Knox is the Armor Center. That's where all tankers go to train. And this was at the Armor Museum. This is on an M1 Abrams tank that we're posing here. Now, while I was here, I played trombone, but I also played trumpet for several years, as you can see here. The 113th Army Band also went and performed at the Kentucky Derby every year. We play the national anthem and we play selections between the races. So here I am playing trumpet. I think I was actually playing the national anthem right here. This is the 2nd Infantry Division Band in Camp Casey, Korea, and this was the Christmas concert in 1989. We did a variety of different kinds of concert venues and goals for those venues, but we had 42 people in the band. That was what was authorized. Sometimes we had more or less, but 42 was what we were supposed to have. And when we all came together, we had a full-size symphonic concert band where we could play just about anything. And then we would break down into smaller groups. We had a full jazz band, swing band, like the '40s style Glenn Miller type jazz band. We would also break down even smaller into small combos. We could do like Dixieland Jazz Band. I played in one of those. That was really fun. It only had about 5 or 6 of us in there. We could break down into smaller a rock band or a country band or a polka band, whatever the music was that we needed to perform at the time. There was someone in the group who would have that ability. So the different bands, the different small combos that we played in, it was always changing who was playing what. Sometimes you'd play in one band for a while, sometimes you'd play in another band for a while. We basically had two missions that we had to accomplish with our music. One was morale support, and we would support the troops. And so we would play military ceremonies. We would do change of command ceremonies, um, award ceremonies, graduation ceremonies, like from basic training and things like that. And we would also do troop concerts. When I was at Fort Knox, that was also a basic training post. So we would go in and, the guys in basic training were hitting it hard for several months. So we would go in and do a concert for them just to relieve some of the stress for them. During Desert Shield, when the army was all over Saudi Arabia before Desert Storm happened, the troops were just out in the desert in little posts with nothing to do, and they were bored out of their minds. So there were actually seven army bands stationed in Saudi Arabia, and all they did was just travel around, and most of them did three troop concerts a day. They'd go into one little outpost and set up and do a concert, and then they'd move on to the next one and do a concert. So the morale support was very important. The other thing that we did as far as our musical mission was public relations, either here in the States between the military and the civilian population of the US or overseas. We would do concerts like in Germany, concerts in the Marktplatz for the German people to help build public relations between the US Army and the German people. And we would go out and we would do full concert band and the full jazz band, and we would do like concerts in the park, things like that. The whole band would do parades. We would march in parades all the time. We marched. I marched in thousands of parades. And then one of the things that we did, well, like Christmas time, we would break into smaller groups of quartets or quintets, and we would with Christmas music, and we would travel around to all the different nursing homes in the area, and we would go in and our little groups would play Christmas music for all the people at the nursing home. That was always fun, and you could see how much they appreciated it. And it all had to do with recruiting and public relations with the military and the civilian population. Do I miss it? Absolutely. It was just such a joy to travel across the world for 24 years doing nothing but music. I was blessed. So anyway, thanks for watching. Live simple, live free. You be blessed as well. We'll see you next time.